How can I see normal print output created during pytest run? Sometimes I want to just insert some print statements in my code, and see what gets printed out when I exercise it. My usual way to exercise it is with existing pytest tests. But when I run these, I don't seem able to see any standard output, at least from within PyCharm, my IDE. Is there a simple way to see standard output during a pytest run?
The S switch disables pytest capturing, only if a test fails. S is equivalent to capture equals no.
Pytest captures the stout from individual tests and displays them only on certain conditions, along with the summary of the tests it prints by default. Extra summary info can be shown using the R option. Shows the captured output of past tests. Shows the captured output of failed tests, default behavior. The formatting of the output is prettier with R than with S.
In an upvoted comment to the accepted answer, Joe asks, is there any way to print to the console and capture the output so that it shows in the JUnit report? In Unix, this is commonly referred to as teeing. Ideally, teeing rather than capturing would be the py.test default. Non-ideally, neither py.test nor any existing third-party py.test plugin, that I know of, anyway, supports teeing, despite Python trivially supporting teeing out of the box. Monkey patching py.test to do anything unsupported is non-trivial. Why? Because most py.test functionality is locked behind a private _pytest package not intended to be externally imported. Attempting to do so without knowing what you're doing typically results in the public pytest package raising obscure exceptions at runtime. Thanks a lot, py.test. Really robust architecture you got there. Even when you do figure out how to monkey patch the private _pytest API in a safe manner, you have to do so before running the public pytest package run by the external py.test command. You cannot do this in a plugin, for example, a top-level pytest module in your test suite. By the time py.test lazily gets around to dynamically importing your plugin, any py.test class you wanted to monkey patch has long since been instantiated, and you do not have access to that instance. This implies that, if you want your monkey patch to be meaningfully applied, you can no longer safely run the external py.test command. Instead, you have to wrap the running of that command with a custom setup tools test command that, in order, monkey patches the private _pytest API, calls the public pytest.main function to run the py.test command. This answer monkey patches py.test's s and capture equals no options to capture stare but not stout. By default, these options capture neither stare nor stout. This isn't quite teeing, of course. But every great journey begins with a tedious prequel everyone forgets in 5 years. Why do this? I shall now tell you. My py.test-driven test suite contains slow functional tests. Displaying the stout of these tests is helpful and reassuring, preventing LaSEC from reaching for killall-9 py.test when yet another long-running functional test fails to do anything for weeks on end. Displaying the stare of these tests, however, prevents py.test from reporting exception tracebacks on test failures, which is completely unhelpful. Hence, we coerce py.test to capture stare but not stout. Before we get to it, this answer assumes you already have a custom setup tools test command invoking py.test. If you don't, see the manual integration subsection of py.test's well-written good practices page. Do not install pytest runner, a third-party setup tools plugin providing a custom setup tools test command also invoking py.test. If pytest runner is already installed, you'll probably need to uninstall that pip3 package and then adopt the manual approach linked to above. Assuming you follow the instructions in manual integration highlighted above, your codebase should now contain a pytest.run_tests method. Modify this method to resemble. To enable this monkey patch, run py.test as follows. Stare but not stout will now be captured. Nifty. Extending the above monkey patch to tstout and stare is left as an exercise to the reader with a barrel full of free time.
When running the test, use the S option. All print statements in example test.py would get printed on the console when test is run.
Test